I plan to keep this protective styling for 6 weeks. Here's how. Before somebody asks, but how are you going to keep your hair looking decent for that long? And yes, I go to work. Let me show you exactly how I'm planning to do it. Number one, keep the water to a minimum. The first rule is probably the most important. I'm avoiding excessive water. Now, before anyone says, but water is moisture. Yes, I know. Water is important for moisturizing our hair. But there's a difference between moisturizing your hair and completely soaking a protective style. Things like swimming, getting caught in pouring rain, or completely soaking the hair during a wash can cause the style to frizz, loosen, and lose its structure. And considering I'm trying to keep this style intact for 6 weeks, I don't want to constantly be soaking it and then having to manipulate it back into shape. At the same time, I'm not going to let my hair become bone dry for 6 weeks either. I'll still be doing my light moisturizing routine when necessary, just without completely saturating the style. So the goal is moisturized hair, not soaking wet hairstyle. Number two, satin headbands for my edges. Satin headbands. These have honestly become one of my favorite things during this challenge. As my hair gets older, my edges are obviously going to get more frizzy. Instead of constantly brushing, gelling, and manipulating my edges to make them neat, I'm just going to cover them. Yes, cover them. These satin headbands help keep my edges down while also reducing the temptation to keep touching them. And because they're all black, they pretty much go with everything. You can find packs of satin headbands online, including on Amazon, which is where I bought this pack, so you don't necessarily need anything fancy. For me, they are basically doing two jobs, protecting my edges and helping me look presentable. Number three, satin scarf at night or before I go out. My satin scarf. Every night I'm sleeping with my hair covered. The satin helps reduce friction between my hair and my pillow while I sleep, which is especially important when I'm trying to retain light. And in the morning, I don't just rip the scarf off and run out the door. Before I leave for work, I actually tie my scarf around my head a little tighter than I normally would to help lay the hair down. Then I leave it for about 15 minutes. So while I'm doing the rest of my morning routine, my hair is basically sitting there getting itself together. And when I take it off, hopefully we're presentable. Why am I even doing all of this? But you might be wondering, why am I going to do all this trouble to keep one hairstyle in for 6 weeks? Well, there's actually a bigger reason. I started this hair growth journey back in January, and for almost 6 months, I was doing what I thought was the right thing. I was washing my hair every week, I was combing it every week, I was restyling it every week, and I was doing this consistently for months. But when I looked at my progress, I didn't have much to show for it. And that's when I started thinking, maybe I need to stop doing what I've always been doing. So this challenge is sort of an experiment in doing the reverse. Instead of constantly taking my hair down, I'm leaving it alone. Instead of manipulating it every week, I'm reducing the manipulation. Instead of constantly checking for growth, I'm focusing more on retaining the hair I'm already growing. And that's really what these 6 weeks are about. I'm not expecting my hair to suddenly grow at some crazy rate just because I'm wearing a protective style. Hair grows from the scalp. The question is whether I can keep more of that growth instead of losing it through unnecessary manipulation and breaking. So I'm giving myself 6 weeks to find out. So that's my plan for keeping this protective style in for 6 weeks. Avoid excessive water, protect my edges with satin headbands, sleep with a satin headscarf, and while I'm about to leave my house, and most importantly, leave my hair alone. I'm only at week 2 of 6, so we've got a long way to go. But if you want to see whether this completely different approach actually gets me closer to my goal of waist length by December 2026, subscribe and follow the journey. Because if the last 6 months taught me anything, sometimes the answer isn't doing more to your hair. Maybe it's doing less.